Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Paddle Monster newsletter. This week I would like to talk about when to intensify your program. So to this point, since we started our off-season training, everybody's been focused mostly on strength development and development of aerobic base, right? Base work. So it's generally longer pieces, lower intensity pieces, level 2, maybe level 3. Not a lot of level 4, not a lot of sprinting, level 5 work. So the question becomes, when do you intensify? You've been doing this type of work now for the best part of December, all of January. Now we're into February, and that's 8 to 10 weeks. So the question becomes, when do you start to intensify? And I still believe it's a little bit early to start to really intensify the program, because most people aren't doing important races until the end of April or in May. If you are doing important races sooner than that, like really high priority races, then you should be intensifying your program soon. But if you're not doing that type of racing until the end of April or into May, it's still early to intensify your program. So, what should you do? Because it is true that changing the stimulus in the training periodically, like every 10 to 16 weeks, is a really good idea in order to continue to see maximal adaptations as a result of your training. If you do the same type of training for too long without changing the stimulus, you end up not adapting as well to the training load, or as a result of the training load, and you don't see the gains that you might otherwise see. So that's the question, when to intensify. What I think you should be doing right now is starting to add more structure to your training. So rather than doing long, steady workouts, you can do a variety of intervals, but the bulk of the work should still be in that level 2, level 3 range. But within these intervals, or within these structured workouts, you can start to add more work that's level 4, or even some sprints at level 5. The bulk of the work is still going to be base oriented. So it's not like you've changed the stimulus, the entire focus of the program, to high intensity work. But you're gradually bringing in bits and pieces of higher intensity into the base work that you're doing. The second thing that I recommend is that you take one workout a week at this point now, and you start to do, and you just use it as a high intensity workout. So you can start with something like, hard 2-minute pieces at level 4, and you can start to work towards sprints, like 1 minute or 30-second sprints, a month from now. And yes, it's early in the season to be doing this type of work, but when you consider that you spent a lot of time last year learning how to sprint, and sprinting isn't just about developing your anaerobic ability and it's not just about your energy systems. It's largely about technique. It's about the ability to move effectively faster and more dynamically. It's about the ability to find connection more quickly and more dynamically, and hold water on your blade while you're pulling dynamically without letting any slip off, right? I strongly believe that the best sprinters in the world are the best technicians, because they're able to do really well at 90 strokes a minute or higher, what the rest of us are able to do at maybe 60 or 70 strokes a minute. And it takes a lot of skill to be able to paddle that effectively at that high a cadence. So you work really hard at developing that skill through the last paddling season. And to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to stop working on those abilities or on those skills for a prolonged period of time. It does make sense to me to stop for a while, because that type of training is that high intensity training is puts a lot of demands on your nervous system. And I do think that, that it's worth to take a, a month to 6 week, maybe even 8 week break from it. But I don't think you should be waiting all the way until, you know, the end of March when your program really starts to intensify, to start doing that type of work again. At some point, if you wait too long, you have to retrain yourself just to get back the skill level that you finished last season with, and that to me isn't productive. So I think it makes a lot of sense to start doing some higher intensity pulling once a week. I choose Tuesdays as the day that I suggest people do that because it's early in the training week. So if you take Sunday off, for example, you can train Monday and do something lower intensity to get your body back into the rhythm of training after a day off. And then Tuesday's your high intensity day while your nervous system's fresh. And then thereafter, you can get back into, the rest of the week, which is predominantly focused on base work. But you can add little bits and pieces of higher intensity work into these base workouts. So, the high intensity work is going to be probably less than 10% of the total, but you're doing some higher intensity pulling. But I really do believe it's time to start doing one higher intensity session a week. I think you'll benefit from it a lot. I think you'll more quickly reacquire the ability to paddle fast, the skill ability to paddle fast that you worked so hard on last year, and you won't be searching for that in the race season. I think if you want to continue to progress from year to year to year in that high intensity ability, so you're progressing year to year, I think you need to do this type of work, not all year round, but you need to do it for a greater period of the year than you might otherwise think. So that would be my advice today on how to approach the training program now in terms of adding intensity. And it's going to make your training, I think, a lot more fun because it's introducing something new and something that's highly productive. Okay, so have a great week.